All right, back at it again, trying to put everything back together. I've already put scuttle panel in, brake booster and all that's back on. Just sort of looking at the wiring and how I'm going to run it neatly, but I'm not going to fully do that until the engine's in. And that's the main thing we're going to be doing in this video, is getting that engine in there. But first, I need to crack it open and put the K20 pump, oil pump in there, and take the pump that's in there out of it. But I'm going to go through all of that in this video and show you guys exactly what to do. Okay, when I said I was going to start the engine first, that was a bit of a lie. I've decided to do all the subframe first, which has been really fun. It's taken me a couple of hours to get it back in because it's heavy and I did it all as one. But I've got new boots for the steering rack because they're all split. So I'm going to do that now before the engine's in because it'll be in the way. And I'm going to do the brake lines first as well. So I'm going to get that done so when I put the engine in, it won't be in the way. So I'm going to try and save myself some pain. So I'm going to get those two boots on. I've got two new track rod ends because the other ones are knackered. I'll show you what they look like. The threads are horrible. So I'm going to get them on first, do the brake lines. All right, so this is what I'm talking about, the threads on here. There we go. There's not much thread left on them. So new ones it is, and these new boots, and they've got this little funky little, basically what happens is when you steer in and out, this boot extends and shrinks, and what this little sort of valve does, it lets air flow across to the other side. So when one's extended, the air goes across and then it goes back. Kind of old school, but cool. And I'm surprised I managed to get these new from Honda. These were like sort of 20 quid each from Euro car parts. So I'm gonna get these on, and there's a bit of play in that as well. So I don't think that would have passed an MOT. All right, so the track rod ends are done and the boot's also on the other. Looks a lot cleaner now. I've actually replaced this little pipe because it was actually split. So that's all clean and done. I've been here 2 hours now. It's now 9 o'clock at night. I got here at 6. So scuttle panel's on, subframe's on, track rod ends are done, those other boots are done. So good going for tonight, I think. I'm happy with the progress. Tomorrow night is when I'm going to tackle the engine because I want to kind of do that all in one hit. I don't want to leave that like halfway finished. So that's the plan. Just crack that off tomorrow night, and then hopefully I should be able to chuck it back in. The work is about to begin. I need to take the rocker cover off first, and then I need to get these pulleys and stuff out of the way to get this time cover pulled off, and then eventually the sump. So let's get cracking. So the pulley's off, the mount's off, rocker cover's off, and it actually looks very clean and healthy in here. It's not full of like sludge and very, very dark, like it's not had many oil changes, but it looks pretty healthy so far. So what I need to do now, lift it in the air so I can get to the bottom of all these sump bolts because the whole sump needs to come off. All right, so I've got the timing cover off, and the first thing you want to do is set to top dead center. See that arrow pointing to that arrow, and these two lines meet, and these two little dots at the top. So when I take this tensioner off, everything is in the correct place, and as long as I don't move or touch anything, when I put the tensioner back on and let the tension back onto the sliders, it should be fine and everything should be in the right place. But I need to take this chain off to get to the oil pump chain, this back one. That's the one I'm changing, and the tensioner here and that guide. But next thing I need to do, get the sump off and then crack on with all of that. The sump is off and all of this is getting removed for the K20 pump, but first I'm going to take all the chain off and this chain here off. The old pump is off and the new pump is here. You can see by the size difference. That thing's crazy big, and this is a lot smaller, but the K20 pump, the oil pressure you can run a lot higher, and that's why you can rev the engine higher and get more power. So we're going to have to cut out a little groove across here, but I'm going to put it up to the engine and then somewhat draw around it. Yeah. See how this side here, it dips right down, whereas the K20 one's flat. So we just need to grind some of that away so it fits. One of the things you've got to do that's pretty much the most important part is there's a little plug here that goes onto the old pump here, where the oil drains back in there into the pump. But with the K20 one, we don't have that. So we have to block that off. And the way to get these off is tap a little screw in it. You can see it's just starting to spin. And then you just gently pull it out. and that's all it is. And that little hole drops oil out through there. So what we're going to do, take that out, get rid of it. It's actually threaded in there with an M8 bolt. So I'm going to seal all that up and basically bung it. And the reason we do this is because if we don't, the oil pressure won't be as high. And if it's not as high, then you can...
But you have no oil pressure.
You can kill the engine. So we have to block this. Dog! Shut dog. Moss, go! Yeah, so have to block this. Just get that nicely covered. I've probably got more on me than I have on this bolt. That should do. That should do. Where am I? Over here. And there she has it. I'm just going to nip that up. I think. Job done. Okay, so I've got the two pumps together. You can see how here on the 24 pump, it's got that nice little groove, and that's what we need to replicate here. So we've drawn a little line. So what I need to do now is just cut this back so this will fit up perfectly with the engine, and then it will be good to go. I can put the sump back on, and yeah, next big thing done. What was that? What was that? More oil pressure? Yes, please.
It doesn't fit.
Yeah, goes like that. Really, we really should have bought an engine stand, but because we're tight and we've got an engine crane, we thought, we'll just do it on the
We're
floor.
tight, you mean he's tight.
We'll do it on the floor. Hey, I've got bills. So we actually had to cut a lot more than I really wanted. I did not want to get close to that, but it's still pretty much significantly attached to there. It's not just like a little edge on the back. For that to fit in fully. Before, it just wouldn't butt up. When you see that little bit on the engine, we had to just keep grinding it back until it fit perfectly flush. So yeah, we could have maybe ground that bit on the engine, but then I didn't want to just take everything to pieces to mask the engine up and take the tray back off. So just did a little bit more on that. It should still be fine. And yeah, and I can now put this back on there. The pump is on, and the tensioner and the guide is all good. It's still all right timing wise. I still need to put a new chain on, but I need to get a new cam gear. I don't need to, but the degree of timing isn't going to be as good as it.
No, you get with the EP3 one or DC5 one, you get 50-degree of timer.
So
I can't remember the exact amount of them.
Basically more power. So I need to get hold of one of them. But for now, I can put all the sump back on, and then I'll finish timing it up properly once I've got this new cam gear, which I'm going to try and get in the next day or so. Update, I have got the front flexi pipe in and installed. I was going to try and make it even more neater and tucked out of the way, but to be honest, I'm happy with how that looks. It's functional, it's easy to get to. So yeah, that's going well. With the engine, I've ordered a set of cams, so it's going to stay apart for another few days or so, just until I get the cams, because there's no point putting all this back together, because I'm going to have to strip it exactly down to where it is now. The cams I've got are EP3 Civic Type R, the same as the Type R we've got here, and this just means we'll be able to get a lot more power out of the engine, and that's basically what we want. Going to the 2.4 with these cams and that K20 pump is just going to give us a lot more power, a lot more torque. So it's really worthwhile doing that. So I need to just wait a few days until that's done. But while that is sat waiting, that's why I've decided to move on to the brakes. Got the front sorted. I'm now going to run the rears all the way to the back. But I need to drill a hole in the bulkhead for the rears because it's like an internal kit. But I'm going to get on with that next, and hopefully we'll get this cracked off quickly. So, you know, I said the engine was going to be in the bay and done for this video. I don't know if I'm actually going to release this little clip and the progress I've done yet without putting the engine in. I haven't decided. So I'm recording this clip just in case I decide to. But yeah, progress is going well. I'm just waiting on parts. as soon as they're here, I can really crack on with this thing.